I'm back on one of my favorite pastimes, baling mud. And what I'm working on here is something I've done out here before that I wouldn't say is my favorite thing to do, but it's an interesting thing. I'm trying to break in a new road here to go back in the trees and get to a spot where I can start baling out more clay. See, I've got Wilbur fixed now, and all I want to do is haul dirt and build everything up that I want to do. But I have dug this pit about as far down as I can go so that I could just haul like crazy the first day that I had the truck back. But now, of course, I've screwed myself because I'm sitting on all the dirt that I have left, and that's it. There's a lot out there in the bottom of the pond, but I've been pumping. When I started digging the other day, the water level was right there at the edge of the rim of that pit. That's why it is where it is. I've pumped down a couple feet since then, but there's feet of muck in the bottom of the pond. I'll have to get all that stuff out before I can even dig any good clay out of the bottom of the pond, in addition to, of course, getting it pumped out. So I'm trying to get to some new clay, hopefully a little bit faster. So I'm going to break down a road to go back in here in the woods and get around to that side of the pond and start digging down over there and start expanding that side of the pond further west. I want to leave this little patch of oak trees, and either it'll be a little peninsula or maybe it'll be an island. I don't know yet, but I don't know. I just want to leave it for some character. I don't like how my pond is just a big open hole right now. I want to have some character. So I'm working on busting this road in, but of course it's spring and the woods are full of water. You can't really see it from here, but just beyond that mud berm, there's standing water. So what I'm doing is, of course, I'm having to push that little mud levee out in front of me to push the water away, and then I'm digging out 3 to 4 feet of mucky crap to get down to solid clay, all the while pulling down trees that are in the way. And I'm digging in a road versus trying to build up a road. I'm digging down a road. And like I said, I've done this before out here. It's just a little trick that I've learned with this property, that at about 3 to 4 feet you find good solid clay, and you can dig right down to it and you can drive on it, even though there was 3 feet of mud on top of it that would have swallowed any machine you tried to drive in there. So that's what we're working on today. Gonna be, like I said, trying to get broke in here enough that I can kind of start to establish the road. And the bigger trees, they'll get hauled out and brought to the sawmill, and the smaller trees will get thrown on the burn pile here behind me. So let's see what we can make of a day. Well, it doesn't look pretty, but maybe you guys get the idea now of what's going on. You can see I'm down on that good solid clay there, and the real struggle right now is that every time I extend my little mud berm out there, I have to push it out around a tree to isolate the tree, then dig the tree out and drag it out, and in doing all that I stir up an awful lot more of that nasty, what I call the milkshake mud. It seems like it's just multiplying faster than I can shovel it out, but I am getting out of the way. Unfortunately, I'm eating up a lot of what would otherwise be decent solid clay while scooping up all the muck. So it's certainly a challenge, but I've gotten back to this point now. I'm gonna widen that corner out a little bit, and I'm gonna start to turn to the left there. But for right now, I'm just kind of bulldozing back, dragging my bucket backwards here, trying to shovel up all this stuff that's gotten the Play-Doh consistency, and gonna throw it out too. Like I said, it was drier solid stuff, but now it's gotten contaminated. So when I drive across it, it's just all gooey, and I'm dragging my belly pans, and I can't get traction. So anyway, I'm gonna back drag all this and keep piling it up over there as much as I can. And then I think I'm gonna get Wilbur, because when I break out that next section, it's actually a pretty decent volume of dirt. So I might start trucking it out of here, because I'm just about out of places to shove it at this point. So anyway, we'll keep pecking at it. Well, I abandoned my little dug-in road cut, and not because it wouldn't work, although now it's flooded, but basically I got to a point of diminishing returns. The mud wall that I was pushing up all on the outside to keep pushing water and muck away from me, it just got to where it wasn't manageable. It was coming in on me so fast. Every time I would try to dig anything, all that crap, all that milkshake mud would just flow in and make a mess. And I was spending more time back dragging and trying to scoop all that crap out than I was actually just digging and extending the road. I tried to back Wilbur down in here for one load, but with his tires being bald, the ground was kind of tacky, and I actually almost got stuck. I was spinning all 4 tires couldn't get out. I had to have my wife actually jump in and drive the truck, and I pushed with the excavator to get it out with a load on. But I wasn't going to fool around with trying to run partial loads or risk getting stuck every time. So the long-term goal with it, and I will finish it, you know, the fact that it's got water in it, it's no big deal. I can pump that out in an hour and less. It'll take me longer to set the pump up than it will to pump it out. But the long-term goal with it really was just to get around this little group of water oaks here, which they're not great trees, but I figured if I can keep them, why not? And I'll keep them, and I'll just make it be a little island in the pond. So I wanted to make this a road cut to access that part of the pond over there, and then eventually it would all flood with the pond, and it would just be an island in a little back channel, give the pond a little bit of character. And you can see I was pretty close, really. I mean, the edge of the pond is right here, and I'm right here. You know, I wasn't far. But like I said, I was losing time, I was losing ground, and so I just quit on it for right now. I actually don't know where this water came in from. As far as I've seen, looking all around, there's one spot right here where a mud levee caved. Maybe that's where it came from, but I don't really think so. Oh, maybe it was so. You can see it's still running in. I guess it was so. That's where it's coming from. So I can fix that with a shovel easy enough. A couple clumps of mud. And I probably maybe should before I leave town, because otherwise it's just going to fill up more and more and more. But at this point, whatever, it's wet. I'm not going to pump it out before, in the next couple of weeks anyway. So if it floods more, I really don't care, because I'm not going to use it. The reason I was digging it in the first place was because I had a massive hole over here where I really wanted to get into the pond, and I just didn't think that I'd be able to fill it back in. But it turns out I filled it back in really fast, really easy. And I'll show you, because now I'm super excited that I've got a good road back into the pond. So I was doing all this digging and all this fussing and pushing because I had a hole right here that was every bit of 15 feet deep. I got 21 loads out of that hole to take up by the house. And I was just like, thought to myself, you know, there's just no way that I can fill it back in a cost-effective or time-effective manner. But I'm really bad at guesstimating dirt volumes, but finally I got pissed at my little dug-in road here, and so I tried it, and I just parked the excavator right in close on the edge, and I started knocking down the front edge, and then I started back dragging, cutting from up there, pulling it back to me, and then also bailing it ahead and filling the hole back in. And in, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe, I had all this done. 30 minutes worth of rough cut with the excavator, another 30 minutes on the tractor with the box blade. And I only did the tractor and box blade because the excavator broke down on me, blew a hydraulic line. And so I didn't want to leave the road real choppy with high and low spots in it and risk that we get a rain and have a bunch of mud holes. So I came in on it with the tractor, box bladed it out just to smooth it off. So now, if we get any significant rains, it's no big deal. It'll all just run right down from the excavator and right into the pond where it's supposed to go. And then we can pump it right back out as needed. So, long story short, I guess, I wasted a lot of time trying to dig in a road. It's not all lost because I will, like I said, eventually complete it and still have an island in the pond. So it's okay. But now I've got a good, smooth slope. I drove the excavator right down here into the bottom of the pond, which is the first time the excavator's been in the pond. It's late April of 19 now. It's the first time the excavator's been in the pond since 2016, right after I bought the dump truck, and I hogged out this whole main area. I got the excavator back down in once or twice. It hasn't been in since, so I'm back down in the bottom of the pond. That's really rewarding. I'm gonna get back down here when I get the hydraulic hose fixed, bail out a sump right here so that I can try to pump that hole completely dry. I've got years worth of muck in the bottom of the pond. It's all the silt that's come in off all the banks where it's all eroded out. I'm going to try to bail all that out, get it back up on high ground and drying, and then spread it back where it once was and get those banks seeded and stabilized. But now that I'm back down in the bottom of the pond, I can cut out all of this volume of dirt in here, and I can cut it down at least another 10 feet before I hit sand. That's a lot of dirt for what I'm needing. And if that's not enough, I can move up onto this bench with the excavator, and I can bail over the levee there and, you know, extend my levee out, clear a few more trees, and basically extend this bench further. So that's definitely the much more practical way to go. Like I said, I'm kind of eating crow here, if you will. Not really eating crow, but, you know, swallowing my pride and admitting my fault, that I just didn't think I could fill that hole in as fast as I did. And so I spent hours and just headache and frustration trying to dig in a little new road, and I could have filled the hole just lickety split and spent the whole rest of the day hauling dirt or whatever. But it is what it is. I didn't have the pond totally pumped out at the time anyway, so I was kind of still waiting on that. But pond's all pumped out now for the most part, enough that I could get in here and dig. I mean, this is a whole day of digging and hauling right now, no problem, 2 days maybe. But yeah, and then I'll expand further west if needed. So, progress, I guess, at the end of the day. Still progress. Still pecking away at it. But I'm super excited to have my little road. Like I said, Wilbur has never been down in the pond, because ever since I've owned it, the way the transmission was, it had no power to pull up any significant slope at all. Now I have full power as far as I can tell. Throw it in first gear and just get on it and it goes. So I think it shouldn't have any problem really pulling up these hills. I might not load it full. It gets a little steep right in here for just a second, then it levels off again. So we'll just have to see how he does on the first load or two and just kind of test it. But anyway, super cool. I'm really excited about my ramp. I mean, I could drive a pickup in there if I wanted to. It's just really cool. I don't know why, it just is exciting. It's like, you know, years in the making, and then I finally just do it. I'm so happy with it. So anyway, mud road, abandoned for now. I'm gonna call it the mud road, the dug in mud road, whatever. But pond ramp done. Super excited. I know you guys always want to see the video of me actually working. And I know I've made this excuse before, but that's like a whole thing with setting up the tripod, and it's just annoying. So I try to get it when I can, but I promise you it's real and I actually do it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to play with my kids.